Dogman runs in packs. Dear Scary Stories NYC, I know you live cooped up in an apartment in a city with no human rights just so that you don't have to get a driver's license, but I'm going to educate you a little bit about what it's like out here in the real world. You see, out here, we don't wonder if Dogman is real. We wonder how many of them we're going to get bothered by when they happen to come around. Now, it wasn't always like this, I'll tell you that much. When I was a kid, I only knew one old fool in the woods who believed in Dogman. Now that some of the woods in these parts have been turned into parking lots, though, the packs of dogs charge through our towns, run right down our streets. Sometimes they break into our homes. Big fancy media outlets don't like to talk about this, and if they do, they say it's an epidemic of wild dog packs. They'll tell you that the packs are a mix of feral canines and former house pets that have reverted to a feral state in order to survive. They may tell you some other true facts, such as that these packs kill for sport. They don't always eat what they take down, they do this for fun. They're crazy, they're psychotic, or whatever the canine equivalent of that would be. But one thing that you'll never, ever, ever hear any million-dollar news outlet say is that these packs are in fact led by bipedal canines. They are packs of dogs led by other packs of dog men. Whenever you see a group of wild dogs, don't you wonder how they knew where to go, where to attack, when to retreat, and where to hide? Did you think they turned into geniuses overnight? Or do you think that maybe, just maybe, they're being told where to go and what to do, same as when they lived in your home and did what you told them to do? Did you really think that pets would suddenly know how to think for themselves and live as free creatures? That makes no sense. Obviously, they are being told what to do by their new masters, who walk on two legs just like you do, but are not in any other way like human beings. If you think I'm going to tell you where I live, you got another thing coming. First of all, I don't want to draw attention to myself, and second of all, I'm not that proud of where I live. I used to be. I grew up proud of this place, but after overdevelopment killed off the woods and eliminated our ability to hunt for our food, then the great regret came along and closed down all our businesses. Now in my neighborhood, you're lucky if one other house on your block is still occupied by a family. For the most part, entire suburban neighborhoods around here are like South Pole outposts. You live by your wits, I'll tell you that much. If you can't defend yourself, ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. Of course, I'm talking about break-ins and house robberies, but human beings are not the only kind of predators we got around here. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you and act like the Dogman leads his packs around my house every night. He doesn't even come every month, but when he comes at me for a full day at a time. He comes at me with a larger pack of dogs each time, and they do more damage to my house than they did the time before. Last month, I saw the dogmen themselves. They're getting that brazen. I always knew they were there. I could see their eyes in the darkness, but now I see them standing down the street, just watching as their wild dog packs tear my stuff down all around me. I tell you, they tore the shingles off of one outside wall of my house and started to dig into the wooden wall itself. I waited till things quieted down and the sun came up in the morning to go outside and start nailing some new boards over the old to reinforce that wall. That's when I heard yowling and barking. Then I seen about 9 or 10 dogs, all at once, running right in my face like they were going to eat me alive. I barely got back inside in time to save my own life. That night, they went back to working on that wall, but I had spent the day shoring it up from the inside, and so I survived. I guess they located easier prey by the next morning, because they were gone after that. I don't know how long I've got to reinforce the outside of the building before they come back again. I'm hoping I've got a few weeks, but I can't tell for sure. As I was writing this, 2 adult dogmen started running into the side wall of my house like linebackers or something. They're literally trying to push my house over. It hasn't even been a week and they're back already. I have to go deal with this, and if I survive, I'll come back and tell you what happened. Well, I'm still alive. I had to blow some holes in what's left of my windows. That means I've got to pick up more lumber tomorrow to make them safe again. Forget about glass. All the glass in my windows was gone before the cold set in last winter. I just board them up, and I leave one that I can slide to the side for when I need to look out there or fire at my enemies. I seen 2 different bulldog men, the upright bipedal kind, and they was taking turns trying to run straight through the wall of my house. I don't know if these dogmen have ever been around here before. I didn't recognize them. They're the tallest I ever seen. I would have remembered seeing these guys. I don't even know if they lead a pack of dogs. I think they are their own pack. I don't even know if they knew anyone was inside here, but they sure know now. I don't see how I missed those 2. I had clean shots at both of them, but I didn't hear or see any kind of reaction at all that would indicate that they were hit. Sometimes you start to wonder if they're paranormal or something, but then you look at the damage they do, and you know they're 100% for real. Maybe I did hit them, who knows? I just know that they seem to have gone away. I'm not going to make the mistake of going out there to check, though. I don't want to walk into any more ambushes. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, and I'm a dead man. So, Mr. Scary Stories NYC, I know you're probably weeping about your communist mayor's new totalitarianism, but guess what? I live under the rule of the freaking Dogman. Want to trade places? I got a broken down house with boarded up windows I can sell you cheap. Seriously though, moving is not an option for me. There's no work around here, and I'm surviving on what's left of my savings. I can't beg for money. There's nobody left to beg. All my neighbors left already while the getting was good. I can only try to survive as long as I can, but I know that eventually that Dogman is gonna win, and that's because Dogman runs in packs. Hope you liked that story. You guys voted it number 2 of the stories you wanted to have me do today, and we've got the one you voted number 1 coming up in a second. But first, please join me in thanking today's executive producer, Christina Gonzalez. In German, that's it is das ist alles, but what's it is Christina Gonzalez. There's nobody that's leaner or meaner than our executive producer named Christina. Christina is one of our $10 deluxe channel members, which means that she gets to hear our weekly Sunday secret uncensored stories, plus she gets the links to our 21 hours of archived uncensored stories, and she gets to see the shows in advance of the public whenever possible, which is most of the time. If you can't afford that, we've got multiple tiers going all the way down to 99 cents, but Henry Lee Dogman will explain all that at the very end of this episode. Right now, we're going to jump into our next Dogman story, which I told you guys up front was fictional and a comedy. I put this title into the poll as a joke. I didn't think anyone would vote for it, but you guys voted for it. When I deleted that first poll and I put up a second one, you said again you still wanted to hear it, even though, like I said, I'm telling you, I made it up myself, and it's just a comedy story. By the way, the trolls have not slowed down. I want to thank those of you who provided me with information, and I want to thank those of you who have provided me with support. I want to especially thank Chris C. for being an honestly good human being. We don't have enough of those left. That's proven every time I block another one of our nameless friends' fake accounts, which has been like 5 a day since everybody's favorite so-and-so realized 2 days ago that I had a popular video last week, and he can't stand that for whatever reason. By the way, even if you're great and I love you, I can't clear comments that name anybody by name, okay? So please don't do that. And please don't go to their pages and bother them. Please just ignore these kinds of people. That's what I would be doing, but you requested this. So here we go. Now remember, this is just meant to be funny, so if you can't take a joke, that's not my fault. Sit back, get comfortable, this is not serious, and let your old pal Bigfoot narrate for you the fantasy fight matchup that we'd all really like to see. Because it's time for Dogman versus the YouTube troll. Once upon a time, there was a YouTube troll named Johnny, and Margaret, and Andre, and Bjorn, and dozens of other fake names, as it takes a lot of fake accounts to be an effective YouTube troll. This particular troll happened to be my cousin, and he explained the secrets of his success to me as we went camping back during the first wave of the pandemic. I had been looking forward to meeting up with cousin Johnny, as I hadn't seen him in years, and we used to always go camping together as teenagers. I was quite proud of him becoming the top Dogman podcaster on the internet, especially since I once actually saw a Dogman just a few weeks before this happened, and I'm extremely interested in the subject. So, after we pitched our tents and had some dinner, I asked my cousin to explain how he got so many Dogman stories to tell, especially the ones that happened to him personally, where he kills the Dogman with his bare hands and helps local law enforcement track the creatures down. Cousin Johnny spit his drink all over the campsite when I asked him that question. I thought he was having an attack or something, but it turned out he was laughing at me. "What's so funny, Cousin Johnny?" I asked him. "You don't actually believe in Dogman?" he asked, rolling around on the dirt in front of the fire. I was about to tell him my story, my true story, how I saw the creature. I thought maybe he could use it for his show, but it seemed wiser to hold back and let him explain himself to me first. "Do you believe in Dogman, Cousin Johnny?" I asked. "Do I look like a sucker?" he asked back. "Look, cuz," he continued, "there are two types of people in the world. The suckers and the suckies." "And you're a sucky?" I asked him. "You know it, bro," came his self-assured reply. "Look, being a success on YouTube takes just one thing. Well, actually, it takes two things. No, make that three. It just takes three things, cuz." I asked him to explain, and so he did. First of all, you need to insist that your channel always tells the truth. Always true stories, got it? It don't matter how wild and unbelievable your stories are, you just say it's true, and the dummies will believe you. In fact, the less believable the stories are, the more they'll believe you. Second, you gotta troll all your competition and write over and over in their comment sections that they're not telling the truth. "How do you do that?" I asked innocently. "Oh, in a few ways. Like, first of all, the open attack works wonders. Just call the guy a liar. Go like this: 'How dare you publish these obviously fake stories? You're disrespecting all of us who've really seen the Dogman.' That's a classic troll. But if that doesn't work, sometimes it's better to be indirect. Like, you can just go and ask rude questions in the comments like, 'Are all your stories real, or are all your stories fake?' It's a trick question, obviously. There's no way to answer it that you can't use to cause more trouble for this guy. It's also important to get some of the stupid people trolling for you if you can. Make sure they attack all the channels that are better than yours in all different ways. And besides the nasty grams, you should also do the concern troll thing. Act like you're their friend. Like, 'I'm really concerned about your channel. You know, the stories just aren't as good as they used to be. I'm worried that you might be sick. Should we pray for you?' He laughed so hard at his own evil ideas that he almost fell into the campfire. "So," I said, "first you say all your stories are true. Then you say all the stories from the channels better than you are false or just bad stories, right?" "That's right," he said. "But there's one more important step to becoming the king like me." "And what's that?" I asked. "Well, you got to team up with other unethical backstabbing people," he explained. "That's the toughest part because, you know, backstabbers are, how do I put this?" He sat and stared into space for a while. Backstabbers will stab you in the back," I said. Yeah, that's what I was going to say," he insisted. So you got to be ready to use them for what you can get out of them. Then you got to be ready to stab them in the back before they do it to you. He laughed coldly at the idea of destroying the careers of his former friends. I was crestfallen since I had looked up to Cousin Johnny and his success. I had wanted to be just like him, but that sure changed fast. I looked around the campgrounds we were situated at the edge of. Even for the pandemic, it seemed empty there. It used to always be crowded when we'd go there as teenagers. I pointed this out to Johnny just to sort of change the subject, and he laughed that cold laugh all over again. You can thank me for this place being empty, he gloated. I put out a 3-part story last month about how this campground was infested with dogmen. I said the authorities had consulted with me about the situation, along with other experts, of course, and decided to close the place down. So nobody's here because I convinced everybody that the place was closed. Funny, right? This was especially confusing to me, and I'll tell you why. The time I saw the Dogman, it was just 2 weeks prior. I had listened to Johnny's show and heard that this was a good place to spot a dogman, and when I came to visit, sure enough, I saw one. I guess I missed the final episode where he claimed the place was shut down. I hadn't been afraid to come back to the site since I was going with my cousin Johnny, and Cousin Johnny is always boasting on the internet about what a great dogman killer he is. He also boasts about how all the law enforcement are eager to serve as his assistants. Why, Johnny wasn't just the master of all dogman, but he had mowed down an entire family of Sasquatch one time. At least that's what he said on his show. So, if Cousin Johnny didn't believe in Dogman, then he couldn't know that this place really was actually an honest-to-God Dogman hotspot. If I told him what I had seen just a couple weeks prior, why, he'd label me a sucker. But it's wrong not to warn someone that they may be in danger, even if that person is a backstabbing, narcissistic, evil internet troll. I wondered what would be the right thing to do when nature solved the problem for me. A loud howl erupted in the darkness. We should put this fire out and get inside our tents, I suggested. Johnny cackled. Afraid of a pooch howling in the woods? He asked me. I'm gonna go drain the lizard, he stated, then walked off into the darkness past the edge of the camp. As he did so, another howl erupted, even closer this time. And then I saw it. Just past where Johnny was doing his BI business, someone, or I suppose I should say something, was watching him. Johnny, I called out. What is it, cuz? He asked back. I think you better call in some of your loyal assistants on the police force to help you, I answered. Johnny looked confused. Who told you I know any cops? He asked, then realized I was referring to his internet podcast. Oh, that. You don't believe what you hear on the internet, do you, bro? I was really freaking out. There was a 7-foot-tall, dog-headed monster standing right behind my cousin. I had to warn him somehow. Hey, Cousin Johnny, I asked, do you remember that monster that you told me wasn't real? Which one? He asked in return. There ain't none of them that are real. The Dogman, Johnny, the Dogman, I reminded him. Oh, I made lots of money from the suckers off of that fake monster. What about it, cuz? Well, cuz, I answered, that fake monster sure looks real standing right behind you over there. Boy, you should have seen his eyes pop out of his head. The next thing I knew, that Dogman grabbed him, and the two of them disappeared into the darkness, my cousin squealing like a stuck pig. I heard them retreating for what must have been 5 minutes. And then, silence. I put out the campfire, and I got in my tent. It was hard to zip it up, my hand was shaking so much. I sat in my tent, and I cried. I'm not ashamed to say I cried for my lost cousin, and I cried for my own lost innocence. I couldn't sleep, so I just lay there miserable until I saw the sunlight filling the sky the next morning. Then, I reported Johnny missing to the authorities, and the searches began. I hardly slept for days until they sent me home. I was the main suspect at first, but eventually they found his remains, and it was classified as an animal attack. They never did specify if he was done in by a bear or a mountain lion or what, but I know what happened. Cousin Johnny lost the battle between the Dogman and the YouTube troll. Thanks for watching till the end. If you liked what you saw, please consider clicking like on the video or sharing it with your friends and family that you think might also be interested. If you would like to see more of our work, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that YouTube will alert you when we put out a new video. To become a channel member and gain access to our special perks, you can click that join link under each of our videos. Another option is to join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. You can join for as little as 99 cents on YouTube or $1.50 at peterbernard.com, and that gains you access to our weekly secret uncensored episodes. If you'd like to see our 21 hours of archives of uncensored Dogman stories, then please join at the $3 level or above. To get to watch our shows in advance of the public, please join at our $10 level. That gets you all the perks. We're working on figuring out how to add the $10 level to the PayPal Club too. If you join our channel memberships, you need to check our community page here on YouTube in order to get the links to the secret videos and other perks. If you're in the PayPal Subscribers Club, Peter will email you all the news and links himself. Once joining the PayPal Club, which is Peter's homemade club, please give him a chance to see that you've joined and to compose you a personal welcome email, as none of that is automated. But whichever you join, we'll name you an executive producer for the next available episode. Do you have a scary experience that you'd like to share with us? You can email us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or call our Scary Stories voicemail hotline at 804-LA-SCARY. That's 804-537-2279. It's a Google voicemail box, so that means it keeps cutting off after every 3 minutes. If your story is longer than that, please keep calling back and we can piece it together on our end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
Come back for more scary stories.